First, I want to answer to Gay's last question, and then that's something I remember from the first lesson at the VUB some 35 years ago. It was history of education, and the prof simply stated, schools are simply there to keep us in line. And that's the reason why it works, and that's the main purpose. And you can imagine that from that day on, I was a huge fan of Ivan Illich and his book, Deschooling Society, a rather radical getting rid of all schools. But I'm a bit calmed down these days, and also to state that you need to focus, and I was focusing on creating a huge monument, and suddenly realized that I had to prepare the Pearl Divers session. I made a short presentation just to keep me also a bit in line, because otherwise it's going all directions. Just to start, I'd like to question if we really want young people to habituate to these post-industrial workflows. And perhaps we can also ask the question or the statement that we can habituate young people to the idea that they can find ways to take the post-industrial world in hands and make it more human and more adapted to every individual human needs. And that's something I'm very concerned from what point of view do we have to look at it. But whatever we do, this habituate to these workflows or trying to change them, we have to learn from the future, because that's the way if we can have the future in mind, we can come back and stop the pathways towards this future. But yeah, how can we learn from the future if we hardly learn from everyday mistakes and neglect the things from the past? I hope it is still possible, and I see that there are some methods that can help us. One of them is the backcasting method, and the other one is imagination. And the imagination, that is my favorite one. Let's start with that. Okay, this time no mushrooms, but parrots. Parroting is a thing that Gaze already noticed, that in schools there's a lot of parroting. But just imagine you being a parrot. Choose your color. That doesn't have to be gray, it can be all colors. Your measure, your form of beak, whatever. And then imagine how beautiful life at school could be for you. It could even lead to unexpected achievement, as in the experiment of Alex, the famous gray parrot, African parrot, that played the main role in the experiment of Irene Pepperberg. Alex learned to speak 100 words, differentiating between objects, colors, materials, shapes, and he knew to combine them all. He was not just parroting, as we call it. He was talking, he was really talking. He could even correct other parrots when they made mistakes. In the world of the speaking parrots, this Alex would count as a genius, but also a genius that has reached its limits by learning according to the most effective learning methods for parrots. Unfortunately, or happy for us, we are not parrots, and it depends a bit, or you choose the red pill or the blue pill. We can decide how to get educated. And I think before we make the choice, we can use our imagination again and take a bird's eye view or climb into some of these beautiful spaceships to have a look from above. Can you see it? Well, the last time that I transformed in a bluish parrot, I saw the world without ugly barrack-like schools. The former schools were replaced by parks, woods, ateliers, theaters, museums, workplaces, small and big. Young people hanging out in museums to discuss the importance of geometry to create the beautiful Renaissance paintings. A band exercising their performance they created specially to involve people into their new insights on democracy. A small bus passing by to pick up a group of youngsters and bring them to a brand new garage to learn how to build an electric car. On the way, they passed a team of building constructors, engineers, and students building a state-of-the-art bridge. Next to the park they were working, the elderly center was full of action. The elder teachers lived a second life, a second youth, by learning some kids how to read. And further on, young and old practiced the old art of Tai Chi. Masters becoming students, students becoming masters. I know it sounds a bit like an old-fashioned Disney movie, and it ended with, and they all lived happy ever after, but there is some possibilities and capabilities in this. And very good to know is that humans are not sheep. They are humans. So when we go back into reality, to the daily life, where parents and children wake up at 6:30 or 7, whatever, in the morning, they hurry up to get the child, the little small child's in time to the childcare center or the kindergarten, to school, and hurry up to work, causing traffic problems. We all want to be at the same time at the same place. How crazy is that? And some can even say some words in the cars, are a small, short and quick goodbye kiss, and that is a lot of stress for everyone. Children, parents, workers, teachers, whoever. And that seems a good preparation to the industrial work floor. But what can we learn from this parrot, this great parrot, Alex? Luckily, we trained him to speak so we can listen. We know we can dream. We know we can learn about beyond expectations. We can learn how to fly, but it's even better to learn how to fly before we start, how to land before we start flying. We need to learn to fly. We need to learn to land, and we need to learn how we did it. So we can do it over and over again, improving our practice, getting more out of it, and explain others how we did it. And the others can improve our practice. By doing that, we can all fly at the end in different directions towards an unknown colorful rainbow. The illusion that drives us to explore and learn. Stepping out of the blue towards the variety of colorful possibilities where all can choose from. It is about becoming aware of the continuous changing challenges, possibilities and achievements of the present time, with one eye on the future, the preferable future, not the future as a continuation of today only. Everyone is different. Everyone acts different, although some want us to believe that the majority of humans act like sheep. I must disappoint them all. Humans act as humans, not they act as humans. Maybe they dream of being a sheep and bringing that dream alive. It is possible. But from the other side, let's see a dream as a positive thing, and making the dream come to life is the best we can do for education. It can sound a bit fluffy, but it isn't only that. It is also possible to take a dream serious and work on it to realize it on a structured way. And the first step to make a dream come true is maybe make a detailed description of our preferable future. let's say, the most desirable ways of education can be organized and enjoyed by everyone. In the interest of the unlimited development of human capabilities and the interest to find the most desirable spaces to cherish this, we better pay attention to the needs of every individual, to every group, every subculture, not to erase their diversity, but to elaborate a stimulating exchange, not only in getting to know, eventually to understand, but to become to a deep insight. To make the detailed description, we better involve our young people. Maybe they see it different as us. Maybe they do not agree with the education structured in special engineered enclaves, which will seduce them into the dream world of their elders. Or maybe they do agree. We can already be sure that there will be more than one view on education at the end. It will always be related to some of the different worldviews. But hey, that makes it so interesting, no? Too many great reforming ideas and ideological inspired theories on education passed a long time away. Some of them I liked very much. Remember the deschooling thing from Ivan Illich. But none of them were implemented as meant. We all know that between dreams and reality, laws can become an obstacle, and there will be always practical objections. I think we better design a practical approach, driven by imagination, planning, and action. To do so, educators, politicians, and entrepreneurs, developers, artists, scientists, philosophers, and whoever more must work together. The method of backcasting, a more humanistic approach of the reverse engineering, can help us to make this dream come true. See it as a kind of reflection from out of the future where there is an abundance of education. After the detailed description where we worked on via the imagination, we can set step backs to contemporary days, to the present. And by each step we take backwards, we have to ask ourselves the questions, why haven't we done this? Or what is stopping us from doing the right thing? In order to transform the detailed plan into reality, we must first train our creativity and our imagination. Fostering our creativity and imagination is not only worth because of the planning of the future, but also for everyday life. In the book, The Sparks of Genius, Robert and Michelle Ruth Bernstein write that we do not have to change what we teach, but how we teach. And they suggest they care for imagination. And they do this in a way to organize education by learning to deal with 13 concrete thinking tools. And I love them, each of them. And they really bring you to creativity and imagination. Let us say, what they suggest is give time and take time for observing, for imagining and imaging, for abstracting, for pattern recognizing and pattern forming, for analogizing, for body thinking, for empathizing, for dimensional thinking, for modeling, for playing, for transforming, and for synthesizing. Having done this, being trained to the imagination, we can look more focused to the future and have also more possibilities to look at the contemporary short-term problems. And these problems, that's where I like to start from. Instead of complaining about the lack of investments in brand new schools, or we can replace and how we can replace the old by new state-of-the-art schools, we can see other opportunities. Maybe we can say, hooray, there is no money to build new schools. Maybe we can say, hooray, we have a shortage of teachers. Maybe you can say, hooray, we don't agree about the curriculum, because that offers opportunities, chances. Immediately I say we have to find an alternative because we are playing with the future of our young children, and we cannot put that in danger, of course. But why can't we avoid mega schools, incredible, expensive, and far away from everyday life? Instead, we could invest in creative hubs, simultaneous in use by young and old, student and worker, so we can learn from each other every moment of the day or night. And beside the educational opportunities, this may answer some urgent questions on climate change, traffic congestion, and stress-related issues by parents and children also. And we don't need more teachers and more and better equipped schools. We need more equipped teachers, coaches who guide young people to the labyrinth of knowledge, learn them to create their own pathways and sometimes transform into the colorful bird, to overlook it all and come down again and surprise friend and enemy. Okay, I agree. There are things everybody should master at the basic level: reading, writing, counting, listening. But from then on, it can all go in all different directions, because the questions that haunt us need different solutions, and because the future generations deserve the best options. The way we can come to collective learning, collective intelligence, collective arts, not in the old-fashioned communist way, but in the way that individual agents connect in collective network of possibilities. That's the way we can organize education, and it isn't even hard to do, I think. So let's meet in the future, or let's meet the future, better to say. And the future is a future of lifelong learning environment, during the day or at night, whenever we feel ready, whenever we need input from others. Since the jobs are called flexible and no longer 9 to 5, it will be obvious that education must also be flexible in the way that it's organized, focus-driven, according to the supply and the demand. And it sounds very liberal economic now, but supply and demand you can also see in a different way. Because after all, education starts with just one well-chosen question to raise curiosity. And for the rest, you need pure passion for living. Or as Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once wrote, si tu veux construire un bateau, ne rassemble pas des hommes et femmes pour leur donner des ordres, pour expliquer chaque détail, pour leur dire où trouver chaque chose. Si tu veux construire un bateau, fais naître dans le cœur de tes hommes et femmes le désir de la mer. That's what I prepared for now. Stop sharing and we go back to the things. I see there are a lot of things that were already said by guys, but I think it is time to start thinking about how we're gonna make this dream come true. You know, I'm a man from the action, so I need things in my hands to work with, and I think it's time to find out how we do it, because we have a lot of books and with a lot of reforming things in, but they are not only there just to read. I think I really want to transform things, and that is possible if we work together.